Hello, everybody. It's really good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for Raoul for your amazing talk. I really loved it. I'm going to have to take you to another place right now because now we were just really silent. And my talk starts with hectic, a hectic situation that we often find ourselves in. You know, these moments when you have like daily office work, everything is super hectic, everybody wants something off of you, you're constantly on the phone, you're talking to people, your family wants something of you. All you want to do is have a break and probably take a plane, fly away somewhere to a beach. When I thought about this, no, it doesn't work. I thought about forests and quiet, peaceful environment, even also nature where I can relax and just basically wind down, lie down, be with myself, not be in constant conversation. And you probably all know what this feels like. And so basically the idea or the moment when you just want to get away and when you just want to have some peace of mind is a moment that I felt myself in really strongly this spring, because I was thinking about, you know, next career change. I had just left a job and I was not sure what I was going to do, and I just didn't feel like I had the time and the moment to get away and to be in a quiet place where I had enough time to think, because I was constantly, you know, in a moment of conversation. So. To tell you about what I do is also important, because I'm communication strategist, and I communicate all the time with people, with online media. So I'm constantly in a moment of you know, conversation, and sometimes that gets really hectic and very stressful. And I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, but I also think that that I sometimes lack a moment of peace, or actually unavailability, and a sense of purpose, of a bigger purpose that is bigger than just, you know, using Facebook and Twitter. So this spring, I was working for a startup in Berlin that was renting out boats, and they asked me to get in touch with the ocean cleanup organization that is headed by Bojan Slat. He's a 21-year-old Dutch guy who had a great idea when he was probably 16 in school. And anyways, okay, I'll continue with this actually. This is Bojan. I saw his TED Talk in Delft that he did probably 3 years ago already then, and I already then thought, wow, what an amazing kid, you know, he's so young and he has such a great vision that I'm gonna let him talk about briefly himself. No? Oh God, now it's going crazy. This is his invention. There's 5 big gyres in the oceans. Gyres are currents that collect debris, plastics that float around in the oceans, and they basically keep them there. And they break them down. The salt water and the sun destroy the plastics very quickly, so a lot of the stuff that floats around there is now this big. It's half a centimeter, microplastics. And his idea was to install barriers, attach them to the sea ground that look like big V's, you can see it here, and use the water currents to basically collect the plastics, then be able to take it away and collect and recycle it. And he told me that the plastics are 80% of the original quality, so it's actually a resource. And that's his business model, is not just taking it away, but also basically reselling it and using this as a means to fund his venture. There's another picture here, where you can see, this is an animation, you know, there's a lot of the marine debris that you find comes from fishing, so there's a lot of buoys and you know, fishing gear out there floating around. But to tell you how I got there was pretty funny. So anyways, I got to talk to the guys there because of a collaboration that the startup wanted to do that I worked for. They wanted to basically help them find skippers and boats and sailors and marine biologists to go on an expedition. The expedition was called the Mega Expedition, and it was necessary to do it because the data that was collected of those big, huge islands of plastic was not conclusive at all. They had one guy once sailed across and found the plastic, but they had no idea of how big this carpet really was, because from the satellites you can't see it. A satellite, I was told, has 1 pixel per half a meter, so if the plastics are only 1 centimeter big, you can't see anything. And so they were planning on sending out 50 boats, sailboats, to sail from Honolulu in Hawaii to San Francisco, or basically to the California coast, different places, and collect samples in order to find out what this plastic really looked like, and then to go out and say, look, world, this is what it looks like, this is how much there is, we got to do something about it. So I remember that night when I first got in touch with them, and I realized I was reading a lot of the articles about Boyan and about his venture, and I was looking at online videos of what he was doing, and I got really excited, and I thought, wow, it's not enough for me to just write about it or post about it or tweet about it, what I normally do in my everyday life. But I thought I have to go and be with those guys, and I have to go and see it for myself, and I want to help them somehow. So I wrote them an email, and I said, I feel this strong urge to be part of this. I can't sail, I'm not a marine biologist, but I'm pretty good at, communication, because that's what I do every day. And and I said also, I'm happy to arrange my flights and everything myself, because I knew that there was not going to be any money, so I'd have to pay for it myself. And some food. That's what I would need, a place to sleep, some food. And 2 days later, they called me, actually Alad Fas, who's the media coordinator of the Ocean Cleanup Project. And he's like, wow, this sounds really good. We like the part that you're not afraid to get your hands wet. And he said, yeah, come along, we'll find you a place on a boat. So this was like in June, and I think on the 1st of July I had it all set. I got Red Bull Media House interested in writing a story about it. I had an amazing sponsor giving me all the gear that you need to be on an open ocean expedition, because it's not enough to have a little raincoat with you, because it actually gets really, really wet and cold. And arrived in Honolulu and met my crew, 4 Mexican guys, another American girl, and I met Patches. It's a carbon race boat that just came from the Transpac Regatta to Hawaii. It's very, very basic, as you can see. There's not much in it. The toilet doesn't have a door. There's no shower. This is the kitchen, and that's where I slept. Already that was like, okay, it's going to be different than what I usually do, I travel a lot, but this is probably the most outstanding way to travel for me so far. We set sail, and the first 3 days were absolute hell. I don't believe in God, but I actually considered praying, because you can't imagine, we were running from a hurricane. Our captain, Mark, a really amazing Mexican guy, decided that we should leave early before the hurricane. So the water was pretty rough. There was a lot of wind. We were lucky because the moon was still full, and we had 6-hour shifts, let's say 3-hour shifts. We had 6-hour breaks, 3 hours of watching and sailing. So we were constantly, getting up at crazy hours, and getting to know to sail, because everybody had to sail. We're 6 people, it's 18 days altogether, so it's not like you can say, oh no, I'm not going to do it. So you can, but you should sail. And one of the guys got really seasick, and so we had to take his shifts. And it was really intense, and Mark, our captain, always talked about the 4th magic day, where everything gets better. And when you haven't eaten in 3 days, and then you're like, every hour seems like pretty long when you're awake, so we tried to sleep a lot. We didn't even talk much. And then on day 4, the sea calmed down, the wind came down, and we started talking, getting to know each other. We hadn't really talked much. We were like, hey, I'm Alex. Who are you? You slept next to me for the last 3 days, but I don't even know you because I was too busy not vomiting. And then we also we got to the part where the garbage patch started, and we started taking samples. And I also took a little have a little video for you. So basically we had this installation out of metal and plastic, like you can see it here, and we put these little nets on them 3 to 6 times a day, depending on the weather conditions. And we got it out, reattached another one, and this is an example of what we found. Sometimes we had really big pieces of, like big buckets or even parts of ships jammed in the construction, so we had to take it out and reinstall it. It was actually a lot of work, actually physical work as well, because this boat is not cut out. We didn't have like a little platform in the back but we actually were the boat of 32 boats actually did this expedition, and we were the boat with most of the samples, so we did a good job, I guess. And what I'm going to tell you as well is that it was really hard. It was very, our food got wet. We didn't have very good food anymore. We just ate rice with corn and rice with canned beans and all these things. But what I did get, my phone broke the first day, so I didn't have any music. Obviously, there's no reception. And the book that I took, I really didn't like. So I didn't read, I didn't hear music, and all I did, or what I did a lot, was I was looking out on the sea and thinking that thing that I really wanted when I was at home earlier, when I was so, jammed with all these things. And I got all this time to think and dream and daydream, and it was very healthy and very good for me, because when I got back, I felt like I had, you have this cupboard at home where you just jam in everything all the time, and you close the doors and you don't look at it for a long time. And this was what my brain or my head felt like. And suddenly I was like opening the doors, taking everything out, cleaning it up or throwing it away. And it was very, very good for me. And also, I don't know if any of you have ever been out on the ocean, but it's fantastic. It's very scary. We had nights when we had 20-foot waves and over 40 knots winds. And when you have to sail this as a non-sailor, it's very, very, very stressful. And I was scared shitless. But it's also something that you achieve and then you overcome it, and it's an amazing, amazing feeling to do that. And unfortunately I haven't taken any pictures, but we had nights where there was meteor showers, like 50 stars in 1 hour, and in the water there was plankton and dolphins swimming next to us, and it was absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful. And these moments, you cannot take them away out of your head anymore. So when we got back, I felt like I was really refreshed, and I really got that time away to think about my life. And I can say that I kind of, basically in German we say 2 Fliegen mit einer Klappe schlagen. It kind of felt like that. So I used my interior motive, my self-serving motive to get away. And I also managed to get this story out. I got it out with Red Bull, with Terra Mata. Bild wrote about it. I wrote my own little blog about it. And now I'm standing here talking to you guys about what Boy and Slut does. And that's basically 2 Fliegen mit einer Klappe, because it's my own thing, my own story, and I also help this cause and I spread word about it. And I think that is something that maybe you guys, if you have this time where you're like, oh my God, I want to get away, I need some break, I need to have a time off, you can think about that, Maybe not check into a spa, or maybe not go in and spend some time in a monastery, but maybe look for a cause that you would like to help, and use your professional skills for a project or something that they need. Because I know that from what I talked about to a lot of those NGOs and charities, that they have projects, let's say a fundraising gig or a new website that they need, that they can't really do themselves, or they don't have the resources. So if you can combine this moment of get away and find some time away from everything that you're used to, and help somebody at the same time, I think that's something that's a win-win situation for pretty much everybody involved. And maybe you can consider it next time. Thank you.